Hello and welcome to Mile High Reefers. I'm Scott Anderson, and Gaz T-Rex hit me up on Facebook as he's struggling with a ick problem that's very similar to the ick problem that I had. What happened is he tore down his tank to fix the aquascape, and when he put everything back together a few days later, his tangs broke out in ick. And I totally feel for the guy because this is exactly what happened to me. Well, not exactly, but pretty close. So, Gaz is wondering what's the best thing to do. He knows that catching the tangs and treating them with Cooperman is the best option, but just like the problem I had with my 210, it's really hard to do. So, he's hitting me up wondering what's the best option here. What should he do, or if I have any advice? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go over my experience battling ick and try to give the best advice possible. So what's happened with ick to me in the past is initially I got ick on my blue tank, and the way I fixed the ick on the blue tank on the old 90 gallon is I removed all of the fish from the system and ran the tank fishless for 3 months, and that allowed for all of the ick parasites to die. When there's no fish in the system, the parasites have nothing to attach to feed off of, and they all die. And that worked extremely well. I had really no ick problems after that in my 90 gallon. The problem is catching all your fish is really hard to do, and then housing all of your fish is really hard to do. If I was to do this in my 210 gallon tank, I don't even know how I do it. I definitely can't put everything in my 30 gallon tank. I'd have to set up multiple tanks and figure out how I'm going to do all this, and it would be difficult at best. So I can see why a lot of people shy away from this process, although it is the only process that I know of that will 100% get rid of your ick. If you take all your fish out and you leave them out for months, your ick will go away. You'll still more than likely have to treat your fish with the Cooperman in the quarantine tank. But like I said, for a lot of people, this is not a feasible option. So then, what else can you do? Well, still, if you can catch at least the fish that are infected with ick and treat them with Cooperman, that really is ideal. I think that's one of the keys that I had to my success is Rankins had the worst case of the ick, and I think that by taking him out of the system, it allowed that much less surface area for the parasites to grow and thrive off of, right? Because that's one less tang in the tank. So that made a big difference. Also, I forgot to mention on the video, I did have a bottle of Kickick left over, and I dosed that in my tank. I did not shut my skimmers off. I didn't do any of that. I just dumped it in, and the ick did go away. So, did the ick go away because of the Kickick? I don't know. I really, honestly, don't have any idea. There's no scientific data telling me why Kickick works, what it does. It just says that it gets rid of it through herbal methods. So, I don't know. Maybe that helps, but I can say I had no ill effects from putting it in my tank. Like I said, I ran my skimmer. It might have just been skimmed out immediately, or maybe it actually did some good. I just can't say. But if you're willing to spend the $15, I say try it. It's not going to hurt anything. The one thing is it does say on the bottle, don't run your skimmer. So keep that in mind. You will have, if you don't run your skimmer, you're going to have to kind of change what you do to maintain your water parameters. Me, I ran my skimmer. My skimmer is an integral part of my nutrient reduction system. I mean, I just have to have it. I'm not going without it. But personally, what I would recommend at this point for Gaz's tank, if he can do it, is remove the fish and run it fallow. It sounds like you've already torn it apart to redo your aquascape, so at the very least, it sounds like it's feasible to do. My 210 tank, with the way the corals are growing in and all that, that wasn't really feasible for me. But if you can get those fish out and keep them healthy in another tank for 3 months, do that. That is by far and away the best thing you can do. And if your tank is big enough, I really do recommend a cleaner wrasse or a cleaner shrimp. I have the cleaner wrasse in my tank, and granted, he's only been in there a relatively short while at this point, but he really does a pretty good job cleaning the fish. He is physically removing parasites and dead skin and all that kind of stuff from the fish, and they seem a lot happier and healthier for it. So I recommend these guys. The cleaner wrasses are supposed to be really hard to keep long term because they can't get enough food off of just cleaning. Now, I'm noticing my cleaner wrasse, he eats really well. He's a picky eater, but he eats well. He attacks the nori. He looks like he's eating that pretty good. And I've also been feeding the LRS blend food, which is a bunch of different meaty stuff. It's got mysis shrimp, white shrimp, clam. It's got all kinds of stuff in there, and he's able to find something in there that he likes. So I honestly think with good food options that these wrasses are probably pretty good options for most people with reasonably good sized tanks. And I think 105 gallons with a couple tanks and a good feeding strategy, one of these wrasses would be very successful. I've never tried a cleaner shrimp. I've heard they pretty much do the exact same job. They're double the money and not as cool in my opinion, of course. But that's just my 2 cents on that. Also, don't neglect the nutrition of your fish. The better you feed them, the better off they're going to be at this situation. The food will not get rid of the ick. I mean, feeding them garlic, feeding the best foods in the world is not actually going to get rid of the ick. But it will make the fish stronger. It will help them develop that slime coat, which will allow their natural defenses to be that much better. So that's the best advice I personally have at this point. Battling ick in a reef tank with your fish still in the reef tank is difficult at best. If you can get those fish out, get them out of there. I would say try the Kickick, try the wrasse, just shotgun it and see how you can do. But anyways, thought I'd make this quick video, see if I could be some help to a fellow reefer, and if anybody else has some great ideas, throw them down in the comments column. I'm just as interested as anybody else in trying to find new and better ways to battle ick in the reef tank. I'm hoping that I'm done with it forever, but I'll bet you I'm not. So, thanks for watching this episode of Mile High Reefers, and I'll see you on the next one.